Power, wealth, influence. These are the forces that shape our lives. But where do they come from? Is it the sharp-dressed politician, shaking hands in parliament, passing laws and making speeches? Or is it the strategic businessman, flipping billion-dollar deals, running empires and moving markets? Today we're going deep into the battlefield of influence to compare the real power behind politics versus business.
In the grand theatre of global affairs, a fundamental question echoes: who really runs the world? Politicians, with their power to legislate and govern, or business leaders, who command vast economic empires? Is it the lawmakers we see on TV, crafting legislation and debating policies, shaping society with policies and speeches that resonate across nations, influencing everything from healthcare to education? Or is it the CEOs and entrepreneurs, the innovators and disruptors, quietly influencing our daily lives through the products we use, the services we consume, and the technologies that shape our interactions? They drive innovation and wield immense economic power, impacting markets and creating new industries. Politicians write the rules of the game, setting the legal and regulatory frameworks within which businesses operate. They collect taxes, funding public services and infrastructure projects that underpin society. And ultimately, they make decisions that affect us all, from national security to environmental protection. But business leaders control the flow of resources, managing supply chains, and dictating the availability of essential commodities. They create jobs, providing livelihoods for millions and driving economic growth. And they shape the products and services we rely on every day, influencing our choices and defining our lifestyles. So, is power about making the rules that govern society? Or is it about controlling the game, wielding economic might, and shaping consumer behavior? It's a complex debate that impacts everything from global trade agreements to local community initiatives. It touches every aspect of our lives, from your job prospects to the price of bread on the supermarket shelf. Both groups wield immense influence on the world stage, shaping the course of history and impacting the lives of billions. But they exert their power in very different ways, with distinct motivations and varying degrees of accountability. Let's unpack this intricate dynamic and explore who's really steering the ship of state and commerce, and ultimately, how their decisions and actions affect us all, shaping the world we live in. The struggle for power isn't new. It's a tale as old as civilization itself, woven into the very fabric of human history. From the earliest tribal societies to the complex global networks of today, the quest for dominance has been a constant driving force. In ancient times, kings, emperors, and chieftains held sway. Their word was law, their power absolute. Pharaohs, divine rulers of Egypt, commanded vast resources and legions of subjects, building monumental pyramids as testaments to their authority and legacy. They ruled with absolute authority, their decisions shaping the lives of millions and dictating the course of empires. Their power was often seen as divinely ordained, unquestionable, and unyielding. They were responsible for making laws, enforcing order, and crucially, collecting taxes to fund their armies and grand projects. These taxes were the lifeblood of their kingdoms, enabling them to maintain control and expand their influence. But as societies grew and became more complex, a new force began to emerge: merchants. These merchants and traders, the early business people, traveled far and wide, exchanging goods and ideas, and accumulating wealth in the process. They were the engines of commerce, driving economic growth and connecting disparate cultures. As their businesses flourished, they gained wealth and influence, challenging the traditional power structures of the time. Their economic power translated into political leverage, giving them a seat at the table. They even began lending money to kings and monarchs, further solidifying their position and giving them a say in royal affairs. This financial power became a crucial tool in shaping political decisions. Over centuries, these shifts in economic power contributed to the evolution of political systems. The absolute authority of monarchs gradually gave way to more representative forms of government. Democracies, with their emphasis on citizen participation and the rule of law, began to emerge as alternatives to autocratic rule. Republics, with their focus on elected representatives and constitutional limits on power, also emerged, offering a new model for governance. These new systems gave people a voice in their government, allowing them to shape the laws and policies that affected their lives. This marked a significant shift in the balance of power. Meanwhile, the Industrial Revolution was transforming the economic landscape. It created powerful business tycoons, industrialists who amassed vast fortunes and wielded immense influence. These individuals built the modern world, constructing factories, railroads, and cities, and shaping the lives of millions of workers. The 20th and 21st centuries have witnessed an acceleration of these trends, with technology and globalization further blurring the lines between political and economic power. This period has seen the dance between government and business intensify, with each seeking to influence the other. Sometimes governments took charge, implementing regulations and policies to control business activity and protect the public interest. At other times, businesses thrived with less regulation, driving innovation and economic growth, but also potentially leading to inequality and environmental damage. Wars, economic crises, and the rise of globalization have all played a role in shifting the balance of power between these two forces. These events have reshaped the global landscape, creating new opportunities and challenges for both governments and businesses. Today, political and business power are more intertwined than ever before, with complex relationships and overlapping interests. Lobbying, campaign finance, and public-private partnerships are just some of the ways in which these two worlds interact and influence each other. The tug-of-war between these forces continues to shape our world, with governments and businesses constantly vying for influence and control. This ongoing struggle shapes our lives, our economies, and our futures, determining everything from the prices we pay for goods and services to the policies that govern our societies. Understanding this history, the long and complex interplay between political and economic power, helps us see why the question of who's the boss is so complex, and why it remains a central challenge in our modern world. It's a question that demands careful consideration and a nuanced understanding of the forces at play. Politicians govern. They are the architects of our societies, the individuals entrusted with the immense responsibility of shaping our collective future. They are responsible for making laws, the very foundation upon which our civilization is built. These laws dictate our rights, responsibilities, and the framework for a just and equitable society. They are also tasked with managing public services, ensuring that essential resources like healthcare, education, and infrastructure are available to all citizens. And they represent us on the world stage, engaging in diplomacy, negotiating treaties, and advocating for our nation's interests in the complex tapestry of global affairs. Their authority comes from constitutions, legal systems, or the people's vote, a mandate bestowed upon them by the very citizens they serve. This legitimacy is the bedrock of their power. They wield hard power, commanding through laws, the ability to enforce regulations and maintain order through established legal frameworks, and soft power, persuading through diplomacy and example, influencing global opinion and fostering cooperation through negotiation and cultural exchange. Business leaders, meanwhile, are the driving force behind economic activity. They create and deliver goods and services, fulfilling the needs and desires of consumers and shaping the marketplace. They drive innovation, pushing the boundaries of technology and developing new products and services that transform our lives. And they manage resources for profit, making strategic decisions about investments, production, and distribution to maximize returns for their shareholders. Their power comes from economic influence, controlling capital, the lifeblood of any economy, directing investments and fueling growth, technology, and jobs. They are the engines of employment, providing livelihoods for millions and shaping the workforce. They can boost economies or cause downturns with a single decision, wielding immense power that can ripple through entire nations. While politicians set the rules, establishing the legal and regulatory environment in which businesses operate, business leaders shape the world we interact with every day, influencing our consumption habits, our lifestyles, and the very fabric of our modern existence. Both roles are crucial, but their power plays out in very different arenas. One in the realm of governance and public service, the other in the dynamic world of commerce and innovation. Money is the bridge between politics and business. Politicians need funding for campaigns, often from businesses and wealthy donors. This creates questions about influence. Do big donors get special treatment? Lobbying is another link. Businesses spend billions to persuade politicians on key issues. In return, politicians control policies that can make or break industries, from tax breaks to government contracts. The revolving door between government and business blurs the lines even more. Ultimately, money fuels both worlds, creating a complex web of influence and dependence. Connections are as valuable as cash in both politics and business. Politicians rely on networks, party allies, community leaders, and international contacts to get elected and pass laws. Business leaders build networks for investment, partnerships, and market insights. These worlds often overlap. Politicians and CEOs form alliances, move between roles, and shape policy together. Power lunches and informal meetings can be as influential as official decisions. These relationships can drive progress, or raise concerns about favoritism and cronyism. In the end, power is as much about who you know as what you control. Politics and business are locked in a constant dance. A new law or trade deal can send markets soaring or crashing. Political stability and policy decisions shape business confidence and investment. In turn, business reactions, like hiring, layoffs, or investment shifts, put pressure on politicians to adjust course. Economic indicators become political scorecards. Neither side operates in a vacuum. Their actions create a feedback loop that affects us all. Sometimes this dance brings prosperity, other times instability. The stakes are high and every move matters. Politicians set the rules. Regulations on labor, environment, finance, and more. Businesses adapt, comply, or lobby to shape these rules in their favor. Sometimes regulations spark innovation. Other times they're seen as obstacles. Businesses may exploit loopholes or move faster than lawmakers can keep up. Too little regulation risks abuse. Too much can stifle growth. Striking the right balance is a constant challenge, with real consequences for everyone. The push and pull between politics and business plays out globally. Trade agreements, shaped by politicians and lobbied for by businesses, can transform entire industries. Tech giants like Google and Apple challenge governments to keep up with innovation and regulation. Political decisions, like sanctions or climate agreements, can open or close markets overnight. Business innovation often outpaces government rules, creating new challenges. Sometimes, political will drives business change, as with green energy. These stories show how deeply intertwined and impactful these two worlds are. So, who really runs the world? Politicians with legal authority or business leaders with economic might? The truth, power is shared, shifting, and often contested. Politicians set the rules, but rely on business for economic strength and public support. Business leaders drive innovation and wealth, but need political stability and legal frameworks. Real power lies where political and economic influence intersect, sometimes in partnership, sometimes in rivalry. Those who master both worlds often shape our future most.